Hi everyone, this is William from the Headphone Experience, and I'm here tonight with a headphone shootout. And this is the Hifiman Arya Stealth version and the Hifiman Arya Organic version. And I've had both of these for a while, the Stealth a lot longer. And I was thinking, hey, I never did do a comparison between the two of these. And I did do my first impressions of the organic version a couple months ago, or maybe 2 months ago, I think, and haven't got to my full review of this yet. And normally I don't do comparisons before I do my full review, but a lot of people are still talking about, the different Arya versions and how they compare. And I did review the original Arya back about 4 years ago, and I really did like it, but I thought it had a few issues that could be improved on. And then I reviewed the Stealth version probably, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago, and a lot of the issues that I did have were greatly improved, but in some ways it took a little bit of a step backwards, and now the fourth version is out. Unfortunately, I never did get a chance to hear or review the version 2, but my understanding it was very similar in sound to the version 1. So I've done version 1, version 3, and version 4, and this is going to be a comparison of these two. So getting started, these are both on loan to me from Hifiman, and the Stealth version currently sells through Hifiman for $759, which is the lowest I've ever seen the price on this. I mean, this was originally a $1,600 headphone, then it went down to like $1,100, something like that, then down to $1,000, and I think the last I saw was $799, but I just looked a few minutes ago, and right now $759 for the Stealth version. The organic version is a little more expensive at $1,299 is the current price, but this has only been out, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so, maybe a little longer, I'm not sure. I've had it a couple months. So these are both full size, over-the-ear wired planar magnetic headphones. They both use stealth magnets. The stealth version has an impedance of 32 ohms, and the organic version has an impedance of only 16 ohms. Excuse me just a second. Worked out in the heat today. It was about 82 degrees maybe. Not real hot, but it's been kind of cool and rainy lately. So today it was 82 and sunny. Actually seemed a little warm, so I'm a little dehydrated. I might have to take a drink or two during this video. Getting back, the sensitivity on both of these headphones is rated at 94 decibels at 1 milliwatt. So theoretically, the organic should be slightly easier to drive because of the lower impedance. You should be able to drive it with a little bit less power. The weight of the Stealth is claimed to be 430, the organic 440. I didn't actually weigh them. I was going to, and I forgot before I did this video, but they're pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and show you the headphones. And I'm going to show you both at once here for a second, because they actually look absolutely identical, except for the organic has the wood trim. And yes, I believe it's a real wood trim, but it's not like a solid piece of wood. The ear cup is not made of wood. The ear cup's made of plastic, and it's sort of a veneer type thing, but I believe it is real wood. I'm not sure what kind, maybe teak or something like that. But other than that, they look absolutely identical. Same size, same type grills, same yoke, same headbands, everything about them, even the pads look the same. So anyway, I'll roll in and show you a little closer here. They both have the tapered ear pads, synthetic leather with a cloth inside. They're both the egg shape from Hifiman. Both have the the, what do they call it, window shade grills, and they both have aluminum yokes, and I like this style of headband, and I like the swivel, and this is probably my favorite type headband from Hifiman of the different types they've done. So they're both pretty much identical looks-wise, and they both feel exactly the same on my head. They're both very comfortable, except for I do have a slight issue with the egg-shaped Hifiman headphones where they ride a little low and puts a little bit of pressure on my jaw, and after about an hour I usually have to take about a 5-minute break because it can aggravate my TMJ a little bit, which is actually on the right side. But other than that, very comfortable, very well distributed weight. So before I get into my comparison sound-wise, and there is quite a bit of difference between these headphones. It's a noticeable difference. You will notice it right away if you compare the two. I wanted to talk about the equipment I used. I'm using primarily, or to compare these two, I used CDs, and they were played through an SL PL200 CD player, and that I'm currently reviewing. I just put my first impressions of that out yesterday, I think. And I'm using that as a transport only right now, and into running a digital signal out to an external DAC. And for this comparison, the DAC I used primarily was the Hifiman Serenade, which is a combination DAC amp. And I used the amp out of that, and then used that as a standalone DAC running into the Hifiman Prelude amp, which is Hifiman's sort of a flagship amp. It currently sells for $2,500, an excellent amp that I've also done my first impressions on, but have not done my full review. So anyway, and then I also used the Serenade as a DAC running into the Waveborn Power Amp Plus, and that is a transformer coupled tube amp that works very well with planar magnetic headphones, even hard to drive planar magnetic headphones like the Sesvara or the HE6SE. And all these Hifiman names, they get confusing after a while. You know, they're similar but different, and anyway, so and then also in my comparison of these two headphones, I use the iFi Audio Neo IDSD2, which is sitting on my desk right behind me here, and also was using the same CD player input into that with the digital signal, and I also use that running from the USB input on that from my desktop computer, which is a HP desktop running Windows 10 and using Windows Media Player, playing CDs that were ripped to the computer in WAV format, full lossless WAV format. So anyway, getting into my comparison of these two headphones, I'm going to start with the tone balance. I would consider the stealth version to be pretty much on the neutral side, but maybe just a slight V. Basically a linear tone balance, a frequency response, pretty flat with a little bit of bump on both ends. Like I said, just a very slight V. The organic version of the Arya, I would say, is more of a lopsided V. The treble's at about the same spot. The mid-range is about the same spot, but a little bit more emphasis on the bass, maybe about 3 or 4 decibels. More emphasis on the bass on the organic, and that's one of the biggest differences between the two. It is a bassier headphone. So, talking about bass, the bass extension. Both have good, very good bass extension, but the the organic version does go a little bit lower. The Stealth has good bass extension. The Organic has even better bass extension. The bass itself, well, let me back up a little bit and talk about sub bass. In fact, I need to back up a little more. I lost place on my notes, so excuse me. I do have to have some notes I can see while I do this, or I forget things. Getting old and can't think anymore, I guess. Or maybe it's just because can't dedicate myself to being a full-time reviewer. I have to actually work for a living, and I go out and work all day and don't even think about headphones, and it's hard to kind of jump back and forth between the two. So anyway, treble extension, that's what I meant to talk about next. I would say they both, I can't tell. They seem equal to me, but I know because of my age that I can't hear above 15,000 hertz. So they both go well beyond my ability to hear. Whether they go beyond that or not, I can't really tell you. But up to 15,000 hertz, they actually sound pretty similar, and the brightness of the two headphones is on pretty much an even level. And I know a lot of people, or at least some people, have an issue with Hifiman treble being a little bright, and I would say they're both pretty close as far as that's concerned. So if you've tried one, if you've tried the Stealth version and the treble is what you like, then you'll probably like the treble on the Organic. But if you thought the treble was too bright on the Stealth, you might want to try to hear the Organic before you actually make the commitment to buy it. So anyway, sub bass. Sub bass is good on both headphones, but the Organic goes a little deeper and it has a little more weight to the sub bass. Also, I'm hearing a little more texture and detail in the sub bass of the Organic. The mid bass, once again, the Organic has a little more weight. The Stealth does a very good job of mid bass, but the Organic has a little bit more weight to the mid bass and a little more punch to it. The mids. The mids are actually pretty similar, but after listening for a while, to me it sounds like the Organic, it has just a slightly warmer mid-range. Not a big difference, pretty close. Where I'm hearing the difference most is in female vocals. On the Organic, I'm hearing just a little bit more warmth and a little more lushness to female vocals compared to the Stealth, but it's not a big difference. They're actually really close. And earlier I said that I had reviewed the first version, the version 1 of the Arya, and that was one of my issues. The original Arya had, I thought that female vocals sounded a little dry and a little sterile, and I thought when the Stealth version came out there was a big improvement, a lot warmer, richer, mid-range with better female vocals without losing any detail. And in fact, if anything, the Stealth gained detail over the original Arya. Okay, another issue I had with the original Arya was I thought that both the mid-bass and the sub-bass could use a little more weight and a little more punch. The original Arya actually was kind of on the soft side. It wasn't a real dynamic headphone. So when the Stealth came out, it definitely had more bass, more weight to the mid-bass and sub-bass than the original, but the Organic has even more yet. So there's a big difference between the original Arya and the Organic. As far as the Organic has a lot more weight to the bass and a lot more punch to it. Jumping into the treble, I did want to back up, but one thing, the original Arya, something I did love about it, the version 1, is it had this huge soundstage. And that was the one issue I had with the Stealth version, is it lost a lot of that soundstage width. And if you watch my video probably a couple years ago, my review of the Arya Stealth, I said it was pretty much the perfect headphone in my opinion. It just, but it lost that huge soundstage that the original Arya had, and if it hadn't have lost that, it would be pretty much the perfect headphone. So, yeah, I really like the sound of the Stealth. Even better than the original Arya, but the organic seems to have been even improved on the Stealth as far as the bass, and then getting into the treble. The treble, I said earlier, is kind of on the same level. I wouldn't consider one headphone, either the Stealth or organic, really brighter than the other. But when I listen to the two, I compare them to, and they both have great treble, don't get me wrong. Both headphones have incredible treble, well balanced. It doesn't have a little narrow peak or anything. It covers the whole, low treble, mid treble, high treble. It's all pretty even. And both have great sparkle and detail to the treble, but the organic, I'm hearing a little. To me, the treble sounds even better on the organic. The organic, it's not brighter, but I'm hearing more detail in it. Like cymbals, I'm hearing more of that ring after the strike. It seems to go on longer, it lasts longer, it's more obvious. I don't know if you call that the shimmer or the air, but the cymbal, you have the original strike. And with both headphones, I can almost see the drumstick hitting the cymbal. But with the Arya, with the organic version, it's a little more clear, and it's a little like I said, that ring that goes on from the cymbal. I hear that more so with the organic version, and it makes it sound more real. It makes it sound more like I'm right there listening to it, like it's in the room. And don't get me wrong, the Stealth version, the treble is outstanding, but the organic is even better as far as just having a real, I guess I could throw out the word organic sound, but maybe that's the reason for the name of the headphones. So, excuse me. So anyway, I'll just say it's a more real, more natural sound to the treble, especially like cymbals and like little bells and triangles and stuff. There's a Tori Amos CD, what's it called? Little Earthquakes or something like that. It's an old Tori Amos CD from the 90s. And there's a song on it. Oh, what's the name of it? Can't think of it right now. I think it's the third track. And anyway, in the song several times there's this little tiny ding in the right channel. And I'm thinking it's like a little triangle or something, just this little ting, and it's not that obvious with most headphones. And both of these headphones, that really jumps out a lot. And I mean, if a headphone is bright, that'll jump out, but with these, the treble's just really clean and really detailed, and it stands out for that reason, not because it's super bright. But anyway, once again, with the organic version, I hear a little more of that after ring where it keeps going, and it just makes it sound more real, more natural. So, getting into detail and resolution, both headphones are outstanding. They both have incredible detail and resolution, up there with just about any headphone I've reviewed from any company. The only headphones that I've heard that outdo them just a little bit would be the Hifiman HE1000 series or the Hifiman Susvara. Other than those, you're probably not going to find a headphone with more detail than either of these. I would say the detail in the mid-range is pretty much dead even, but I would give the organic a slight advantage in detail in the bass, just a little more texture, and in the treble a little more detail because of that. Like I said, it just sounds a little bit more real. Okay, soundstage. Mentioned earlier that the Stealth version lost that huge soundstage of the original V1. Okay, the soundstage on the Stealth version, when I first got it, was so narrow it sounded almost mono. And I'm normally not one of these people that considers burn-in on headphones a big thing. And I happened to make a comment on a post in Headphone Audio, I think it was yesterday, talking about burn-in. And I said that over the last 5 years, I've reviewed probably about 50 headphones, and there's only been a couple that I would say made a significant change with burn-in, and the Arya Stealth was one of those. And the Arya Stealth, when right out of the box, had a very narrow sound stage. Like I said, it sounded almost mono, and voices were just right there, dead smack in the middle, and instruments were out a little bit and wrapped around, but pretty narrow. Well, over time, as I put hours on the Arya Stealth, it got wider, especially the music part of it. The voices didn't get a whole lot wider, but the music definitely got wider. I still wouldn't consider it a wide soundstage, still not anywhere near the original V1 Arya, but a lot wider than it was. And I'm not basing that on memory from 2 years ago. I'm basing that on comparisons to other headphones. So I definitely think the sound stage got wider on the Stealth version of the Arya as time went by. And right now, I would say that the instruments are out at about an average place for open back headphones, but the voices are still a little narrow. The voices still kind of sound like they're right in the middle, right in front of me. And once in a while, some of the voices seem to wrap around a little bit, but they're still kind of centered right in front. Where the Arya Organic has a much larger soundstage. The voices wrap all the way around to the sides of my head. The voices are just all the way around me, and the music is out a lot further. So I don't have the original V1 here to compare to the Organic, but I would say the Organic is similar in soundstage width to the original V1 with probably a little bit more depth. And Hi-Fi Man headphones, until I got into the higher end Hi-Fi Man headphones, I've always said that Hi-Fi Man headphones don't have a lot of depth. Well, the first Hi-Fi Man headphone I heard that really had a lot of depth was the HE1000 SE that has a very three-dimensional soundstage, and the Susvara does also. But the Organic is closer. It's not out there where the HE1000 SE is, but it definitely has more depth than the original or the Stealth version of the Arya. So so of all the changes, the differences between these two headphones, the biggest difference is going to be the soundstage. Much wider, definitely more wraparound of vocals instead of being right in the middle. Wide, music out further to the sides, and more depth. So definitely a much larger soundstage on the Organic version than the Stealth version. Excuse me while I get another drink. Okay, imaging. I would say both of these have very precise, very pinpoint imaging where you can point right at each sound. Instead of coming from a large vague area, each sound is coming from a pinpoint location. But the Organic version, because of the larger soundstage, more wraparound, there's more distance between each of those points. So it makes it even easier to separate them. Instead of being condensed into a smaller area, they're spread out into a bigger area. So they both have very precise imaging, but the Organic version has a larger soundstage with more space between each of the instruments. It makes it even easier to point out the location, and because of the better depth, you can actually hear the distance, the differences in different instruments in distance from you at a better better than you can the Stealth. Stealth isn't bad. I mean, there is nothing wrong with the Stealth. The Stealth Arya is a fantastic headphone, but the Organic is just incredible, in my opinion. So, dynamics. The Stealth version is a lot more dynamic than the version 1. The Organic version is even more dynamic yet. Very, very punchy, very hard-hitting, more weight to the bass, and even the mid-bass and upper bass, just a lot harder hits, a lot more slam to the music. Forgiveness, and by forgiveness, what I mean is a headphone's ability to forgive less than perfect recordings. There's some headphones that anything other than perfect recordings are going to be disappointing. And I'll tell you right now, the Sesvara is one of those headphones. Okay, but anyway, as far as being able to listen to less than perfect recordings, I'd say both of these headphones do really well. But I think the Organic is a little bit better because if you listen to like classic rock, a lot of classic rock doesn't have a lot of weight to the bass. And the Organic, because of that extra 3 or 4 decibels of bass, just fills that in and adds something to the older classic rock that's kind of lacking bass. It makes it sound better, in my opinion. So because of that, I say the Organic is actually a little more forgiving, especially of older recordings that kind of lack bass. Listening fatigue. Both of these headphones do really well. Neither one of them has anything about them that really causes listening fatigue to me. A lot of people, brightness in a headphone can cause listening fatigue really quick. To me, a bright headphone doesn't do that as long as it's clean and detailed. But if the treble is distorted at all, then yeah, I definitely get that. The listening fatigue from distorted treble will get me really quick. But what gets me even faster is distorted bass. If a headphone has if it has muddy bass or soft bass that just kind of blurred, kind of rumbly, not controlled bass, headphones like that can cause me fatigue really fast. Muddy bass just does it so fast. If a headphone has muddy bass, I can't listen to it for more than 10 or 15 minutes without a headache. And both of these headphones have very controlled, tight bass. So neither one of them causes me any fatigue as far as the bass or the treble. But I will point out that the Organic, because of being more dynamic and more punchy, that can wear you out after a while, but usually the solution to that is just back the volume off a couple decibels and you can get past that. But really dynamic headphones can get fatiguing after a while. Isolation, and what I mean by that is, do they keep outside sound out and do they keep the music inside the headphones? Both are open back headphones with very large grill, and neither one of them has any isolation in or out. So that's pretty much a tie for the two of them. Comfort, both within 10 grams of the same weight, exactly the same headband, the same design, I believe the same ear pads. Yeah, pretty much look the same. So I'd say comfort, dead tie on both of those are pretty much identical headphones. Bang for the buck. No doubt about it. The Stealth is the best bang for the buck headphone. I mean, at $759, the current price, I don't think there's a headphone out there anywhere on the market from any company that can compete with the Arya Stealth at $759. If there is, I haven't heard it yet. If any of the companies out there think you have a headphone that's better than the Arya Stealth for $759 or less, please send it to me so I can review it, because right now I don't think you can touch that price with a headphone of the same quality. So the organic, yes, $1,299, much more expensive. That's what, $550 more. But there's no doubt in my mind that the organic is the better headphone. So yeah, bang for the buck goes to the Stealth. Which is the better headphone? To me, there's no doubt. I have no doubt that the organic is the best of the Hifiman Arya series. There's been 4 of them now, and the organic has the best features of the first version and the third version without the weaknesses of either. So if you took the huge sound stage of the Arya V1 and combine that with the warmer, bassier, but just as even more detailed sound of the Stealth version, if you take the best of the Stealth and the V1, put them in one headphone, you've got the organic. That's what it is. And I tell you what, it is a hard headphone to beat. I mean, I love the organic. I still haven't done my full review yet, and I will. And when I do my full review, I'm going to find some other headphones to compare it to. But I just felt like I needed to get this video out because the organic is that good. So both outstanding headphones. The Stealth will get you 90% of the way to the organic for $550 less. So if you've got the $1,299, buy the organic. If that's too much, and I understand that's a lot of money for a headphone. If it's too much and $759 is something you can get into your budget, then definitely go with the Stealth version. But like I said, bottom line, yes, the organic is my favorite Arya to this point. In fact, it's so good that I think my next video, or in the very near future, I'm going to do a comparison between the Arya Stealth, or the Arya Organic, and the Hifiman HE1000 Stealth. Because there's only, I think, a $100 difference between the price of the two. The organic goes for $12.99. The HE1000 Stealth goes for $13.99. So with only a $100 version or difference, yeah, I think the two need to be compared, and people need to know, you know, which way to go, because they are different headphones, and both incredible. But I haven't directly compared the two of them yet, so I think that's, I think I just found my next video comparison. Arya Organic versus HE1000 Stealth, and see where that goes. So, like I said, I know they're both great headphones, and right now, without comparing the two directly, I can't really tell you which is the best, or, you know, if the HE1000 is worth the extra $1,000 or $100. So I'll get back with that as soon as I can. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If it's helped you, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I'm hoping you will. And the headphone experience on Facebook is up to 31.4 thousand members. Like to see y'all over there. Once again, thanks for watching my video.